I don't think it was that much. You know, I think our defense won us these 2 games. I think our defense was way better than the first 2 games. I don't think the offense was the problem in any of these games. But if we play defense, like I always say, you know, we're a dangerous team, and our defense is the key.
It is now a best of 3 as the Dallas Mavericks get a 111-101 win in Game 4 of their Western Conference semifinal matchup with the Phoenix Suns, using a barrage of first-half three-pointers and a terrific night from Dorian Finney-Smith. The Mavericks head back to Phoenix, tied at 2 games apiece. This is Inside the Mavs right here on Kevin Gray Sports. My name is Kevin Gray. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Be sure to hit that subscribe button right there for all things Kevin Gray Sports here on YouTube. And you can catch you on your home of the Dallas Cowboys and Texas Rangers, 105.3 The Fan. The Mavericks had 6 guys in double figures, several of them being able to knock down a bunch of three-pointers. They used 14 first-half three-pointers to be able to build a lead, a 12-point lead at halftime, and more importantly, they were able to maintain that lead throughout the course of the ball game, using 37 first-quarter points to be able to put the pressure on the Phoenix Suns. The Dallas Mavericks get a 111-101 win here at the American Airlines Center. A stunning turn of events after what happened in the first 2 games of this series. Just to recap that for you, the Phoenix Suns shot over 50% in their first 8 games of these playoffs, including a devastating fourth quarter in Game 2, led by Chris Paul, scoring or assisting on the first 19 points of that fourth quarter. Things have turned around dramatically in this series. Chris Paul, after turning 37 years old, has had the worst stretch of his career. He fouled out in Game 4, has 6 fouls and only 5 points. In Game 3, of course, had the 7 turnovers. The Dallas Mavericks have done the job defensively on this team in the last 2 games, and they have brought themselves back into this series now as they head back to Phoenix for Game 5. They turned the Phoenix Suns over again 17 times in Game number 4, getting 23 points off of those turnovers, but it was the timely three-point shooting and the guys that came to the party with Luka Doncic that really helped this Mavericks team turn things around and to climb back in this series, tied at 2 games apiece. Davis Bertans had 4 first-half three-pointers. He came to the party. Even Spencer Dinwiddie in the second quarter, who had 10 points and a stretch where he scored 8 straight points in the second quarter. He was fantastic for the Dallas Mavericks in that second quarter alone. And then you start thinking about Dorian Finney-Smith. Dorian Finney-Smith, a guy who signed a 4-year, $55 million contract during the second half of the year, was absolutely sensational in Game number 4. He uses a career-high 24 points on 8 three-pointers to help this Mavericks team overcome the Phoenix Suns for a second consecutive game to tie this series at 2. I spoke with Richard Jefferson, former Dallas Maverick and current ESPN NBA analyst, about what the Mavericks had to do prior to Game 4 to be able to get a win. Here's what he told me. I want you to watch this because when you listen to what he had to say, it will tell you all you need to know about everything that happened based on what happened in Game 4. Here's Richard Jefferson.
So I'm here with former Dallas Maverick and NBA champion Richard Jefferson on the call for ESPN. Richard, tell me what your thoughts are about this series and what you're looking for in Game 4 today.
Oh, it's a beautiful series. I think this is the game where it's going to get most chippiest, right? You know, Dallas did what they were supposed to do. They really shut down Phoenix. Phoenix is one of the best teams in the league, so they're going to answer. Phoenix rarely has 2 bad games in a row. Some of that was because of the Dallas Mavericks. Some of that was uncharacteristic stuff of the Phoenix Suns. So this is the game. Dallas can pull off a win. A lot of guys need to show up. Now we have ourselves a legit series and it becomes best of 3.
The one thing the Mavericks got to do today to carry over from Game 3 to Game 4 today?
You need Brunson to get involved, and I'm going to say you need one more player. And it could be just one half. Kleba can hit, 2-3 threes in the first half. Then it could be Spencer Dinwiddie hits 2-3 threes or do something in the second half. It doesn't need to be like one full game from one guy, but you need 2.5, maybe 3 guys to have quality performances.
Give me your one X factor for the Mavericks today that gives them a win in Game 4.
If they can hold down the best backcourt in basketball. But understand this, it is key to get off to a good start because the Phoenix Suns are 52-0. When leading going into the fourth quarter, they get a win. So the goal is to get, have a little bit of a lead going into that fourth.
Those are the thoughts of Richard Jefferson on the call for ESPN today, man. Appreciate the time.
God bless.
So Richard Jefferson saying, look, Other guys had to come with Luka Doncic, whether it be a guy in the first half, whether it be Maxi Kleber or someone else. Someone had to put their guys in position with the kind of shot making that they were capable of. And in this particular game, it happened to be Davis Bertans. Bertans, we've been waiting for him to have the kind of game that would help bend the math a little bit for the Dallas Mavericks. He did that in the first half, contributing to the 14 three-pointers that were made. The Dallas Mavericks were able to help shut down that vaunted backcourt of the Phoenix Suns. I know that Devin Booker had 35, but he was 10 of 22 from the field. When you look at Chris Paul, obviously they shut him down with the 6 fouls that he had and only 5 points that he had in game number 4. Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson drawing multiple offensive fouls in a game that had a bunch of foul calls in it. They were great on both ends of the floor. But the Mavericks now have found something with Frank Ntilikina and the defense that he's been playing so far in the series. He had a critical three-pointer at the end of the third quarter to really help extend the lead from 6-9 for the Dallas Mavericks going into the fourth, because they had gone cold in the third quarter, only shooting 33% from the field, 18% from the three-point line. But defensively, again, they were fantastic, only giving up 22 points to the Suns in the third quarter. Jalen Brunson had 7 points in that third quarter. And then you go to the fourth quarter. Chris Paul fouled out with 8:58 left in the fourth quarter. The Mavericks went on an 8-0 run. The lead had gotten down to 89-83, only up by 6. Luka Doncic gets a bucket on the right side. Then Dorian Finney-Smith hits back-to-back three-pointers, including a heat-check three-pointer, to extend the lead from 6 back to 14. That was a big stretch in that game for the Dallas Mavericks to extend the lead from 6 to 14 and give themselves a little bit of breathing room, and they were able to hang on during the fourth quarter. They did a terrific job in the first half, did the Mavericks bench outscoring the Phoenix Suns 29-8. Spencer Dinwiddie, as I mentioned, was really good in that second quarter. The Mavericks were shooting the heck out of the basketball in the first half. They shot 58% from the field, 58% from the three-point line, 51% from the field. The shot making was fantastic for the Mavericks throughout the course of this ball game. Now the series shifts back to Phoenix. We mentioned in the first couple of games, Phoenix was able to blitz the Dallas Mavericks. They jumped out to a 22-7 lead in the first quarter. In the first 7 minutes, they jumped out to a 12-2 lead in the second game of Game 2. In the first quarter, the Mavericks, though, were the ones to punch the Phoenix Suns in the mouth in Games 3 and 4 on their home floor. The old adage when it comes to the NBA playoffs is that a series doesn't start until a road team wins a game. The Mavericks, now having broken their 11-game losing streak overall to the Phoenix Suns, have now won back-to-back games against this team that was the best team in the NBA all season long, and they have proven, if nothing else, they are not going down without a fight. And now the confidence that they can walk into Phoenix and try and get themselves a win is at an all-time high, knowing that they did what they had to do. They protected home court, and they did so with defense, timely shot making, and an intensity on both ends of the floor that saw them diving for loose balls, getting after the Phoenix Suns, matching their intensity on both ends of the floor. This is a team in Dallas that's confident in their ability to do what they can to try and steal a win in Phoenix. They will need to do so in Game 5 or obviously Game 7 if we get to that point to try and win this series. But if nothing else, you've learned over the last 2 games, this Mavericks team has no quit. They have a lot of fight in them, and more importantly, they have now put themselves in position to make this a best-of-3 series going forward for the final 3 games of this series. If they are able to continue the defensive intensity the way that they did in Games 3 and 4, they give themselves a great opportunity to be able to win this series, which is a stunning turn of events based on what we saw in Games 1 and 2. The fact that you and I are even having this conversation after what happened in those 2 games just gives you an indication of what this team believes in their capabilities of doing and how they have continued to keep that same mindset on how they are able to play regardless of who the opponent is. The Mavericks now are in position to now try to find a way to win 2 of the next 3 games. And if they do, all bets are off at that point. But we won't cross that bridge, obviously, until we get there. But all the contributions from Reggie Bullock, Dorian Finney-Smith, Davis Bertans, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jalen Brunson, and obviously Luka Doncic with his 26 points and 11 rebounds, continuing to make history when it comes to the NBA playoffs. This team has climbed themselves back into the series, and they have earned the right to now be in this place tied at 2 games apiece. Jason Kidd continuing to make adjustments. Again, I don't think you'll see Josh Green for the remainder of the series. Frank Ntilikina came in, as I mentioned, had a critical shot at the end of the third quarter to be able to help this team extend their lead. His minutes and defense that he's been playing on guys like Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and others has been invaluable so far in the course of these last 2 games for the Mavericks. Will that continue? Most likely you will continue to see Frank Ntilikina and his defense over the course of the rest of this series. Now, as we mentioned, the series goes back to Phoenix. How will Phoenix respond based on what has happened in these last 2 games here in Dallas? A team that was confident in their ability to shoot the basketball, shooting over 50% in the first 8 games of these playoffs, having not done so now in 2 straight games, and now they are feeling the pressure. Remember, this is the same Phoenix Suns team that was up 2-0 last year in the NBA Finals and blew that 2-0 lead. Coming into this playoffs, Chris Paul, lifetime 0-4, went up 2-0 in a series. All the pressure now shifts to Phoenix and their ability to try and bounce back and win a Game 5 and then try to come back to this raucous atmosphere at the American Airlines Center and get a road win in this series. Something about Mother's Day when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks. You remember the Mother's Day massacre from 11 years ago? Not necessarily quite the massacre that happened against the Los Angeles Lakers, but nonetheless a win, the most important thing for this team, and they got it inside the American Airlines Center. The Dallas Mavericks get a 111-101 win here at the AAC. Game 5 is on Tuesday in Phoenix. Can the Dallas Mavericks find a way to get back to Dallas up 3-2 and maybe have an opportunity to close it out? But again, nothing else that you've learned from this team. They are fighters, and they're not going down without a fight in the course of this 7 games. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Again, be sure to hit that subscribe button right there for all things Kevin Gray Sports here on YouTube. This has been Inside the Mavs right here on Kevin Gray Sports. We'll talk to you later. Peace.